This video is to help you diagnose a Whirlpool or Kenmore dryer that won't heat. Safety first, so always disconnect power before servicing any electrical appliance. Also, the interior edges of these machines are very sharp, so once you start working on them, make sure you take care not to cut yourself. The first thing we need to do on this machine is remove all these screws that are on the back panel so that we can get to the components to test it and find out why it's not heating. In this one, we're dealing with testing of and replacing, if necessary, the heating element. So remove all 9 screws that hold on the back panel, and you'll need a 1/4 inch, either a ratchet set, or I'm using a power tool here with a 1/4 inch adapter on it. So the 1/4 inch, go ahead and get all of them removed, and then we'll be able to test the components and see what needs to be replaced. I'm saving the top screws for last, where the terminal cover block is. Terminal block cover is located. So once you get that screw removed, be sure to remember to hold the panel up so it doesn't fall down, and then remove that plate. That's the terminal cover plate. Set it aside and lean the top half of the panel out. Now I'm pointing out again on here that all these interior edges are very sharp, so make sure you're being careful not to cut yourself. Anyways, just lean that out away from the machine, and then it'll just come right up out of the slot. The next thing I'm going to do is begin testing the heating element. To do so, I have to remove the wires from it first. The ceramic block there that you see, that white ceramic block, is the 2 terminals coming off of that are the terminals for the heater element itself. So remove both wires from them, set your ohm meter on continuity testing, and then connect the wires to it. If it's bad, you will have no tone, and it'll continue to say I for infinity on the ohm meter. So if it has tone and makes noise, well then that would mean that it would be good and it has continuity. So to change this heating element out, since it's bad, I use the, again, 1/4 inch. This time I'm using a ratchet so I can reach in there and get to the bolts. And unscrew them. There's one on each side of the heating element. And set them aside to reuse. And also, some heating elements will have a screw in the middle at the top. This one doesn't, but some do. Lift the bottom and then just gently pull down and out. And here's where this heating element was broken. You can see the spring coils there is broken, so that's why it didn't have continuity anymore and why it wasn't heating. The new ones do not come with a new thermostat on them, so you have to remove your old thermostat from the old heating element and then put it on the new one. So here's the new one, fresh out of the box, and as you can see, it's going to go back in the same way. But before I put it in, I want to change over that thermostat. It'll be a lot easier to do while it's off than while it's already on there. So just gently pry up the one end of the thermostat that is locked onto one of the terminals of the heating element. Some of them are designed this way, some are just the wires. If it's just wires, then take the wire off, of course, and then remove it from the tab that holds it in place. Other thermostats may have 2 screws holding it in place. If that's the case, remove the screws and then reinstall on the new heating element the same way that this one came off of the old one. So I'm going to go back into that tab and then align the terminal just like that, and then I can push it down into place and get it all secure. And once that's done, it'll be ready to reinstall. To install it, I'm going to take the top of this heating element and gently push it under the top of the heat riser. And you can see the little indentions. You want to be careful not to get the coils against the body there. You don't want to be smashing them, so be careful on the angle you put it in. Those tabs align with the indentions on the top half of that chute there. And once you get the screw holes aligned, go ahead and start reinstalling the screws that hold it in place.
1/4 inch again.
Sometimes the holes won't align exactly from side to side. You get one end, and you may have to gently pry open or close a little bit the width of that heating element so that it'll align with the screw hole that it mounts to there. But just gently pry on it or push on it, whichever needs to be done, either left or right, and then get them aligned and put that last screw in. Now that it's installed, I can go ahead and reattach all the wires to it. I'll go ahead and test this new one here and show you what the new one sounds like. Of course, I have on continuity again on the lowest reading on the ohm meter. And there you have continuity. You see a little bit of ohm reading and you hear the tone indicating that it's good. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and reattach the wires the same way they were before. If you have a lot of wires to disconnect, it's a good idea to mark them so you know exactly which wire goes where, and then put it all back together the same way it came apart. That way you won't have any kind of wiring problem that will cause it not to heat once you get the installation done. So definitely make sure you know where your wires go and get them in the right place. Okay, this is all reinstalled, so now I'm going to show you how to put the back panel back on. At the bottom there's a lip, and then there's a channel down on the base of the dryer there. So that lip needs to align with that channel. So take the panel, position it the right way, and then lean the back or the top of the panel down towards all the way down to the floor. Set that lip into the channel and then stand it straight up, and everything should align. That's the easiest way to do these. So just make sure you have plenty of room to work when you're working on these. And then just go ahead and reinstall all 9 screws around. You should install the terminal cover plate first. You can see here I'm doing it last, but it's much easier if you install the terminal plate first. So get all the screws in. If the top is too tight to put that in, either loosen or remove some of those top screws at least until you can get the panel to pry out far enough to put that terminal plate cover back on. But you definitely want to make sure you get it back on. Again, I would install it first. It makes it a lot easier, and for some reason when I was doing this I did it backwards. So once you get all those done, tighten all the screws, then you should be ready to plug it in and hope that it was the only issue with it. Usually it's only one thing causing it not to heat, and that should fix it. Have a good day. Thanks.